This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted as always to be joined by the new chairman of Matchroom Sport.
Well, I was actually in my new office, but you told me it was too echoey.
I know, but I thought that was a bit weird that your dad's only been left 2 days. You've already moved yourself in his office.
Well, I've actually kicked him out a few months ago, but it's been decorated.
So what happens to your other little office at the end of the corridor there?
Frank Smith gets it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Frank Smith should have had his own office anyway, really.
Yeah, but he's, now he has, so got to keep the feet on the ground, Coog.
So
obviously, with yourself,
what part?
Once the ego goes out of control, it's dangerous,
Yeah, no danger of that with you, surely. Eddie, where does your dad, if he comes there now, like if he needs to entertain someone or, I don't know, got a meeting still or whatever?
So quite amusingly, he's got a desk in his secretary's office now, who's been with him for basically as long as the company's existed. And it's quite funny because sometimes now what used to happen is when I was having meetings and he wasn't in, I would nick his office. He would come back from a meeting and sorry, and now it's the opposite. So he walks in or I walk in and he's at my desk in my new office. And I said, okay, come on, off you go.
Oh dear. I will come back to that announcement that you made with your little change in hierarchy at Matchroom in a bit. Right, there is a lot to talk about, but first of all, you've got a show in Barcelona tomorrow night.
Yeah, really good show, actually. I mean, what I'm trying to do is, with these international shows, is I'm trying to put focus on, obviously, different territories and different opportunities for our stable. We keep talking about that global platform being like a world within boxing. So you're going to get our stable and our fighters getting opportunities to box all around the world now. And that's what you're seeing in Barcelona on Friday night. So you've got Sandor Martin, the European 140-pound champion. He's fighting Kay Prosper. Just an amazing opportunity for Kay Prosper. Gavin McDonnell challenging Gargo for the European featherweight title, chance to become a 2-weight European champion. And a really good fight between Kerman Laraja and Jez Smith.
Really
obviously, winner stays on, as we say in this new world. Winner stays on, and you get an opportunity to box again and a chance, and it's a massive chance for Jez Smith. So, really good show. Dazn tomorrow night from Barcelona, heading out there tomorrow morning, and April Hunter on the bill as well, actually, and a couple of Tony Bellew charges. But 3 really big fights for the Brits as the main ones.
Live on Dazn tomorrow night. So, yeah, no rest for you this weekend.
Well, and Felix Cash is fighting on Saturday, of course.
Absolutely. Felix Cash taking on Bentley. And we'll ask you about that a bit later on as well. Okay, Edward. As reported yesterday by Mike Coppinger.
Famous Mike Coppinger.
Who gets where Walter doesn't. I used to get that tag, but it's Mike Coppinger.
No, he does. He's impressive. He is impressive. I mean, there was... I'm not going to speculate too much on media articles. Mike is very well connected. There was a lot of what he posted and a lot of what he put to me that wasn't true. And I told him that, but sometimes he don't believe me. But I'm not going to go into the bits that were true and not true. At the moment, we're having a contract with Sky. We're not going to be making any announcement at the moment about our future. We know it's no secret that is inevitable, that there's a decision to be made and an announcement to be made on what we're going to do. Now is not the time. And we have some big shows coming up that we want to make sure that we deliver for our broadcast partners. And in the UK right now, that is Sky. It's been a fantastic relationship with them. And like I said, not going to comment on just speculation, but everybody knows that moment is coming where there will be an announcement from us about our future.
Eddie, I know obviously you say don't want to talk about it, probably can't talk about some of this stuff, but it was very specific on the length of contract, the amount of money involved, and then there was also a notable bit at the end regarding that the deal wasn't relevant to Anthony Joshua and Dillian White. Can you make any comment on that?
Like I said, a lot of it was incorrect.
What bits
And
were incorrect? Can't you tell
I'm
me?
not going to go in like what was incorrect, but there was, I spoke to Coppinger, I messaged him and said that's wrong, and I think he took one down, and like he has his own, like he thinks that he knows absolutely everything, and even when I tell him no, sometimes he says no, I know it for a fact. But anyway, so again, just we have an agreement with Sky at the moment, and we have a job to do there. And when the time is right, we'll let everybody know our plans for the future.
Are you still in the process of your decision at the moment?
Maybe.
So when are we likely to hear about?
Well, it's common knowledge, isn't it, that our deal runs till the end of June. So any new agreement with any broadcaster would start from July the 1st.
So that part of the thing, that's just a bit of common sense there by knowing.
Oh, I'm sure Coppinger's got, those discussions that go. I mean, like I said, he's good at what he does, but not all of what he said was true. And but what we do know is the part that everybody knows is that our contract runs till June 30 with Sky, and we've still got three shows to deliver on that basis. And I want to make sure that they're the best that we can deliver for our broadcast partner. So that's when any new deal would start. And so on that basis, we're nearly in May. You haven't got to wait too long, have you?
Is this like the best and worst part of your career all rolled into one?
Well, no, I mean, try and speak as openly as I can. It's a very difficult decision for us. Sky are an outstanding partner. They have been for a long time. We also have a huge vision, a vision that maybe people don't even realise for the sport. So it has to be a deal that allows us to follow that vision and dream for Matchroom and our fighters. And that's what we have to take into account. And any deal that we do will be a deal for a lot of money, with a lot of vision, that will provide outstanding opportunities for our fighters. And that's something that, is in discussion.
Okay, I can see you're a little bit reluctant to go any further into this. I will just ask you one more thing, hypothetically, Eddie. If you did decide to do what Coppinger has put out yesterday and move to Dazn and leave Sky, how much of a gamble would that be, considering your long-standing relationship with Sky, but obviously now your affiliation over the last 3 years with Dazn?
I mean, it wouldn't be a gamble if the deal was right. We're the best at what we do. We're the biggest at what we do, and with huge arsenal and artillery, and a huge rights deal behind us, which any of these deals will be unstoppable. So,
where does your plans for kind of Matchroom Media fit in with a broadcast deal as well? Is that going to be more involved in that side?
Oh no, I mean, one thing's for absolute certain, and I saw a lot of speculation about it last night. I think the UK fans, they love the fights. They also love the production. They love to applaud and moan the talent at the talent. They love the commentators. They hate the commentators, and they're very responsive and they're passionate about what they watch. One thing that is an absolute given is that wherever we go and whatever announcement we make, Matchroom Media will be running a production for our live events in boxing from now. And that will be part of any deal that we do. And that will be down to the lighting, the ring walks, the look and the feel, the talent, the broadcast team, everything. Because we create a narrative for fighters and fights. We sell the stories, the cradle and grave mentality, cradle to grave, where it's from the inception to the delivery. It has to be solid. It has to follow a flow, and I need to be able to create that. It's only like WWE. exactly the same thing. WWE Productions create their production, their talent, they're looking, and that's important to me. So any deal now will see us create our own talent presentation team, broadcast team, social media team, shoulder content, documentary team, and any new deal that we do will come with a huge arsenal of production, content, shoulder programming, digital content, and we will be looking to build an unstoppable team of talent to deliver live event production and additional content to fans.
That's quite a strong statement regarding production.
It's not a strong statement, it's a huge statement.
Yeah.
And that for me is one of the most exciting things that we have done as a business and in the sport for a long, long time. Sometimes as a promoter, you can create an event but you align with a broadcaster and you might not agree with the production, or you might not agree with the broadcast team or the lighting or the ring walks or the set. So this gives us an opportunity to put our own stamp globally on everything, So I feel like I've got a good understanding of who the best people are, what people want, how we can freshen things up. And like I said, as much as any deal has to be for a lot of money to make sure we can deliver the best fights and the biggest opportunities for our fighters, it also has to give us the freedom to create production like it's never been seen in the sport before.
But Eddie, how would either Sky or Dazn feel about you having that much input over the production? So effectively, what role would they have in production, either Sky or Dazn?
None. They're a broadcast platform. They're not a production company. We will produce, Matchroom Media will produce these shows and they will air them.
Okay.
It's very important. It's very important to me and a very important part of the deal.
How does this affect IFL TV?
Well, you don't do the production.
No, I know, but we've roamed about for 10 years doing our thing. Like, are you going to be?
You'll always be there. We don't forget about people. But what you will be doing. Look, as I said, any deal will be a huge financial deal that will enable us to make incredible fights. And so for you, it's great news because boxing is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And therefore, you, who is a huge part of boxing, will also continue to get bigger and bigger as well. I mean, as a channel, not literally, although that is probably going to happen as well. Now that fatherhood is here.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I think you've probably said as much as you
can. That one well, yeah.
Okay. So moving on from there. So let's talk about May the 8th. Saunders, Canelo quickly approaching. Huge fight, absolutely huge fight. But I do want to ask you specifically, really, about Billy Joe's father, Tom Saunders' recent interview he gave on Boxing Social, where it didn't sound great, to be honest, like from a relationship point of view between boxer and fighter and promoter, sorry. And yeah, I wanted you to kind of address some of the things he was saying, because he's obviously got some concerns there.
I got a good relationship with Billy Joe. I think I've met his dad twice. First time was when Billy signed with us, and the second time was in Vegas last week, where we had a chat. I don't think he's a huge fan of mine. I've never really felt he was, even when Billy signed with us. I feel that the problem is when you have a mistrust for people, for many reasons, then sometimes you tar people with the same brush. I think our record in boxing speaks for itself in terms of the way we treat people, in terms of our honesty. And you can speak to most fighters about that. I have a decent relationship with Billy Joe Saunders. I can't tell you that we're close, but I had a job to do for Billy Joe Saunders, which was deliver him the opportunities and the fights that no one else could or has delivered for him in his career. We all know that last year I got to deliver him the Canelo Alvarez fight in 2020. We were 1 day away from announcing the fight. Everything was signed and agreed. And COVID hit. And it was a real kick in the nuts. And we had to put up with people saying, when are you going to get Billy Joe Saunders a big fight? When are you going to... And it's like, I mean, we had it. You know, he went off, he boxed Martin Murray. And now I delivered him the Canelo Alvarez fight again. I can't really do any more than that. So if he don't like me or they don't like me, then there's not really a lot I can do. One thing which I spoke to Billy since the interview, I said, we're 1,000,000% fair. You know, we know that certain commissions have rules on judging. I mean, you go to, you know, Las Vegas when Tyson Fury boxed Deontay Wilder, and there was 3 American judges, and Deontay Wilder is American. You know, in last time when Canelo boxed Smith, there was no British judge, no Mexican judge, there were 3 neutral judges, and that's the same as what will be there for this fight. I think maybe where the problem is when we originally discussed the fight, we talked about having a British judge, a Mexican judge, an American judge. Now we're just having 3 neutral judges. But the contract that Billy Joe signed clearly states no Mexican, no British, 3 neutral judges. And they will have the opportunity to look at those judges. And if they have an objection, they can do that to the commission. So I explained that to Billy. I explained that to Tom in Vegas. It was taken on board. And the panel will be sent to those guys. Now, you know, this was something that was discussed with their team. This was something that was papered. This was something that was signed for. There's no moving of goalposts. I watched the interview. Then he said that we were told there'd be no crowd. I mean, I just don't understand. I mean, we've just done 2 fights with Canelo Alvarez with 15,000 people and 15,000 people. There was always going to be crowds there. Did I think we'd sell 65,000 tickets? No, not really. But, you know, we weren't able to take this fight to Vegas where you can command a huge gate like a normal Canelo Alvarez fight. And the other comment was that he saw me in Canelo's gym. Well, I flew to Las Vegas last week to see Canelo Alvarez, to San Diego. I stayed there for a few hours and then I flew straight to see Billy Joe Saunders to do the same. So it's disappointing because, honestly, like, people say, you know, you're already planning the Caleb Plant fight. My contract with Canelo Alvarez finishes on this fight. Now, if he wins, will we work together? I hope so. You know, if he loses, will we work together? I hope so. But it's not a case of, you know, trying to take any side of this. Is a horrible problem that you have when you promote both fighters in a fight. I've told you before, I hate it because someone always feels that, oh, you're siding with him. Not at all. I've delivered you the opportunity that you asked me to deliver, and the rest is up to you. I can't do any more. You know, if you don't want me around, if you don't want to speak to me, that's disappointing. But, you know, if he goes and wins, mate, I'll be delighted for him. And, you know, I feel like I've done a good job for Billy Joe Saunders. You know, there was a time where I've really had to back him through a little bit of a sticky period, to be honest with you. And I actively backed him in interviews and across social media when a lot of people probably told me that I shouldn't. But that's irrelevant. I like Billy Joe Saunders. I have no problem with Tom. You know, I like Tom Watson, the team, and Greg and Mark Tibbs. I think they're great people. So I wish them all the best. But I can't do anything more than give them the opportunity, and the rest is up to them.
Eddie, when you originally had the conversation regarding the judges and the possibility of having a British judge, I know you said it wasn't what was signed for, but did Billy Joe Saunders go, or the team go away from that thinking that, right, well, we've had a conversation about this, there is a chance that there could be a British judge there? But
it depends where the fight was, you know, and ultimately, I don't like having a Mexican judge, to be honest with you, and where you've got, you know, a judge from a country that that brings in all kinds of problems with scoring. I'd rather have a neutral panel, which is what he will have. And we will make sure that every judge, I've already spoken to his team. I think this is probably where the disconnect comes. You know, I've spoken to his team, I've spoken to MTK. They are aware of the situation. The judges will be sent to them. They will have an opportunity to review them, as will Canelo Alvarez's team. If there's any objection before the fight about someone they're not happy with, they can object to that. And those conversations are ongoing. I'm not going to go into them, but they're happy with the position. But again, this is not something that was in a contract and I just changed now. This was signed in a contract. Okay? No Mexican, no British, a neutral panel of judges, and that's what there will be. And I will make sure that there are no objections to them. And I will do my job as a representative of Billy Joe Saunders to make sure that him and his management company are happy with the selecting judges. I want him to focus on this fight. You know, I messaged him the other day saying, I saw your dad's interview, I was a bit disappointed. He said, look, I'm trying to focus on the fight. I said, good. Forget talking about the judges. This will be a fair fight. Now, listen, you're up against 60, 70,000 Canelo fans, right? You're on a away patch. This ain't going to be easy for you, but I will make sure everything is fair for Billy Joe Saunders. So, you know, hopefully we can move forward. But again, there's you know, I was disappointed with the interview, but I feel like I've done a great job for him, and I've backed him, I've supported him, and I will continue to do that now, on fight week, on the night, and I will be absolutely 100% fair. And it's irrelevant if I'm fair or not. I mean, the fight's the fight. Once the bell goes, it's those two in the ring. But I will be backing Billy Joe Saunders. I will be doing my job for Canelo Alvarez, and I will make sure that him and his team are happy. And there's been a lot going on to make sure they are.
Obviously, you can understand when, like you said, you have involvement with both fighters. It is a difficult situation.
Horrible.
And listening to Tom's interview the other day, he kind of indicated a lack of support and love from kind of promotionally towards Billy Joe. But he's his father at the end of the day, and he's...
Well, yeah, but when you say lack of support promotionally, I mean, you know, we gave him a easy defence in Los Angeles. We got him out against Martin Murray in the pandemic, and Bill was very helpful in that situation, by the way, as well. There was a huge backlash to a lot of stuff that he did over the last year and a half on social media. I've continued to back him because I know he's a good person. I've said it, how many interviews have I done with you where I've said, I know he does some silly things sometimes, but Billy Joe is a good person, right? I've had people writing to me, people messaging me, you should cancel, you should come out and make a statement. No, I've continued to back him. Not only have I continued to back him, I've got him his fighting back for an absolute shed load of money. And I know he says it's not about the money, but I'm sorry, that's my job. Give you the biggest fights for the most amount of money. I know I've done it twice now. First time, everybody got screwed, and I went out and I delivered it again. So on May the 8th, Billy Joe Saunders gets the chance to fight Canelo Alvarez in the absolute dream fight, the unification fight. It's the biggest fight so far of 2021. One of the biggest fights the Brits ever been involved with. I can't do any more. But I will make sure any concerns that team have, that myself, my office, my team, are across it, they're comfortable with, and they solve it. And we've been talking to MTK to make sure that everybody's happy. And, you know, we know what was agreed in the deal, and we always honour that. And we will make sure that everything is absolutely 100% right for Billy Joe Saunders.
When you hear like the old stigma of having to go to America to fight Canelo, you're never going to get the decision if it's close, etc. Are you concerned?
It's not even.
You have heard that before, like you have.
Yeah, but it's not. But I mean, the problem is when you have a massive star, a massive name, someone that's selling thousands and thousands of tickets. You know, Tom Saunders made a good point. You know, or I think it might have been Billy. You know, when you know someone slips a shoulder and he throws a jab and 70,000 people go mad. That's what you're up against. There's nothing about corruption. I will make sure that we have 3 outstanding judges on this panel, right? The commission will choose them, and if anyone's unhappy, they can make their case. But ultimately, we don't choose the judges. The commission will tell us the judges. We can object to those. All right. And at the moment,
you object. What happens when you object?
You object to the commission for various reasons. This one may have judged the Canelo Alvarez fight before and given a bad card, or this one might, you know, there's many reasons that you'd give that you'd feel that a judge wasn't the correct candidate. This happens all the time, and that's what their team will do. I actually don't think there will be many objections, to be honest with you, because I think first-class panel will be put forward. So I want to just concentrate on the fight. It's too much talking, you know, about the judges. You've got a fight to fight. You'll see, you know, as Billy Joe says, if Billy Joe Saunders wins this fight comfortably and gets denied a decision, the world will see. I don't believe that happened. I believe he'll get a fair crack at the whip. But he is up, as you just said to your point, against the biggest star in boxing, in front of 60,000 Mexican fans in Dallas.
Just finally on this, just going obviously back to Tom's interview, but obviously him being Billy Joe's father, if he has these concerns, is he not right to exercise them and put them across so it's said before the fight as opposed to...
Yeah, and I think it's... I don't know whether it's also a sort of tactic to make your point to the commission and to the judges that you get a fair shake, which I think they're right to do. But when you're accusing really someone of changing something that, that we have contracts, right? When you do a deal, you put that in writing and everybody agrees it and signs it. This is what happened. There's nothing in that contract that has not or will not be honoured, right? So when you accuse us of maybe being untrustworthy or lacking honesty, that don't sit well with me or right with me, when we will always deliver on what was promised in the contract. And his team saw that, everyone signed a contract and we moved. So, but you are right. Tom loves his son, and Tom's very passionate, and Tom's got a right to say whatever he wants, but Tom don't really know us, and I guess he probably don't trust us. I can't do a lot about that. I'll deliver everything that was promised, everything that was signed for, and we will make sure that it's a fair playing field in Dallas.
But yeah, I mean, the fight, that aside, obviously, I mean...
It's a tremendous fight. For me, it's one of the best fights in boxing. And I've wanted to see the fight for a long time. No one could deliver Billy Joe a big fight. He's been waiting for it for years. I've done it twice now. And he's got the opportunity. And, I honestly wish him all the best. He's trained his nuts off. He looked tremendous in Vegas. You've seen the pictures. He's 1,000,000% ready for this fight. And I think, as I've said before, this is going to be the toughest fight out there for Canelo Alvarez. The toughest fight out there for Canelo Alvarez. And I think Billy's going to be razor sharp on May the 8th.
I know the talk of Canelo and Plant has been spoken about, etc. But Billy Joe wins. Does Billy Joe step into that situation with Caleb Plant?
Yeah, if Billy Joe wins, I mean, people, again, another great opportunity for Billy Joe is, the terms of any rematch are not papered in the agreement. So he would sit there as the absolute king of the castle. Sometimes a fighter, to get an opportunity to fight Canelo Alvarez, sign up to a second fight, for a purse that might not justify what would have happened in that fight. So Billy's in a great position. And if he wins this fight, he's like the king of boxing. So, but this is the opportunity that's been provided to him. And, I believe that he's more than live in this fight, more than live. You're going to have Tyson Fury there. They've got a great energy. They really believe they can do this. And you've got another guy in Canelo Alvarez, who I saw a few hours before I saw Billy Joe Saunders, who is unbelievably confident. Unbelievably confident. So it makes for an incredible fight, May the 8th.
Okay. Moving on from there. So, is it Saudi?
Oh, right, we're all back onto that, are we now? Okay.
Is it Saudi?
Well, Bob Arum said it was.
Right. So
I'm not going to say anything about the deal or the location until we have an official announcement to make.
Because Frank Warren also the other day said there was another offer, another site offer that had come in. This was after this supposed Saudi one. But got to give something, Edward.
I can tell you there's been multiple offers. And I can also tell you there is an offer that both fighters, both teams agree to.
Are we assuming that's the Saudi offer? That
just told you, you're not listening.
I am listening.
Well, you're not. Because I just said, I'm not going to talk to you about the site or any part until there's an official announcement. So what I can tell you is there's another phone call tonight at 9:30 UK time. And, you know, I'm not going to say, well, it ain't even 2 weeks. So there's no chance, oh, shall I do that? I'm not, oh, yeah, go on in. There is no chance you have to wait another 2 weeks.
Really?
Maybe. And I shouldn't say that. I don't think so, no. Yeah, we have a date that's proposed within now the paper deal. We have a city, we have a country that we are just, as I always say, dotting the I's and crossing the T's to make sure, and this is where we go back to contracts, to make sure everything's papered, everyone understands what their obligations are. And that's what's happening at the moment.
Can you even tell us if the
Well, what it begins with?
Proposed dates of the 24th of July, 31st of July, or the 7th of August, is that one of the dates? Can say that. Come on, that don't really tell us anything, does it? That could just mean people.
Yes, but you never know. Yes, but you never know. It could change. But yes,
one of those 3 dates potentially.
Potentially, yes.
Can you talk anything about the broadcast situation regarding this fight yet, or is it?
I think again, Bob did that, didn't he? I mean, it's very likely it's going to be on Sky and BT shared in the UK, probably be on ESPN pay-per-view in America, maybe Dazn. If not, maybe on Dazn globally. I mean, yeah, it's Bob's really giving it all away.
Can you make comment on that? What Bob's
going to be? It's going to be £50 pay-per-view.
No.
Remember, I always said it won't be £40 pay-per-view. So if I did 45, that would be, you know, that would sort of get me out of jail.
Well, no, we're expecting it to be $29.99.
Yeah, okay. I don't set the price, but I'd still stand by my £40 comment. Yeah, that kind of situation's being worked on, and honestly, there's no. Oh my God! Now we've got with all that. You know.
Could I ask you one question? I don't know if you'll be able to answer it or not, but does the broadcast situation for AJ Fury have impact regarding your decision to be announced regarding your UK broadcaster for Matchroom?
No.
None? Okay.
No.
Okay, fair enough. But just tell us it's all going well. It's all positive.
It's honestly going really well.
Honestly?
Yes, honestly going really well.
You're still confident that this...
I mean, I hate to say 100%, but like, I just had a call before I come on here. Like, I've got another call tonight. Yeah, mate.
We're edging there, yeah?
Happening.
Okay. What did you make of Ben Askren and Jake Paul?
I told you that. What did I say? Now, play our interviews back, or any interviews. First round knockout. No one listens to me. I mean, I believe it was like, I told one person that I know, and I think he backed it, right? And I think it was 9 or 10 to 1 or something like that. I told everybody. Ben Askren cannot. I met Dana White last week, right? And I said to him, that fight came up in conversation, and I went, he will get absolutely destroyed. And he went, no, Ben Askren, you know. I went, no, Dana, trust me. I said, Jake Paul can fight a little bit, right? Ben Askren cannot fight. I mean, look, he's a tremendous wrestler. Is he a grappler or whatever? You know, he's an Olympian. I think Dana said to me, he's an Olympian. I said, yeah, he's an Olympic wrestler. This guy cannot box at all. Did you see him on the scales? I mean, this is the first person I've seen on the scales that I look better in pants than, right? So, yeah, I knew it would be a easy night for it. It was all right. Look, I mean, I watched it because we finished our show with Demetrius and Liam Williams, and I watched it in a casino in Miami, and I just couldn't really make out what I was watching. 1 minute it was this bizarre concert, and then it was this. I watched one fight. I don't know what that was. Then the only real fight on the card ended up being a bit of a farce with Regis because the guy took a dive. And then I watched, but it was all right. I mean, it's entertainment, isn't it? I mean, I just think that it's good for boxing in many ways. One of the ways I love it is because it makes everyone buck their ideas up. Yeah. This, whatever you want to call it, is doing good numbers.
This, whatever you call it, you were promoting it 2 years ago.
Yeah, but not this whole, like, I did a couple of world championship fights on the card and Jake Paul against, Logan Paul against KSI. This is a whole nother level, mate. Whole nother level of weird, like, of craziness. Hey, you got half the broadcast team are off their heads. Have you seen it? You got Snoop Dogg's there with a Blunt or whatever it is. And you've got Oscar De La Hoya, who's on Mars, right, commentating. But I don't,
I love it. I love it.
Light entertainment, isn't it? It's just, but do you understand what I'm saying about boxing? So we have to make sure that boxing continues to thrive. This is almost, I feel like we're almost in competition with it. I don't see that as proper boxing, but I see that as entertainment, and it's easy on the eye. We have to make sure that our sport, our brand, continues to thrive. But you only do that by making the big fights and making the fights that you want to see. This is why I get frustrated about Charlo against Andrade. This is why I get even more frustrated about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. What are you doing? We cannot allow shit fights where fighters get fortunes that don't deliver for the broadcasters, because they will kill the sport. So these kind of things must put more pressure on us to deliver numbers, to make better content, to make, Jake Paul is an unbelievable self-promoter, right? Whatever he's got, 20 million Instagram. I mean, and see how hard he pushed that fight? All day, every day. He's done an amazing job. Super smart kid.
Some might say better than you.
Don't go silly. But this is a guy that understands content. He knows how to push numbers. And as I did KSI against Logan Paul. I've seen the numbers, mate. Right? So I know the world, but I want to stick to our world. I'm not saying I'll ever rule out doing anything like that again, but I want to stick to our world and show people how great boxing is. But we only do that by showing them great fights. That's another thing. When I go back to my new deal, it will be a deal that enables me to do that. Sometimes you're handcuffed, and it's, where purses continue to rise. You want to make the big fights. They're very expensive, but you might not be able to deliver them in the right kind of way. And that, for me, is something that I will make sure that in this next round, I'm in a position where I can deliver you exactly the fights you want to see.
Okay. Edward, have you seen these latest pictures of Andy Ruiz now? Like, there's no angles here. Like, I'm on about a proper side profile. He has absolutely trimmed down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've read that he's not that much lighter in weight than he was for the first AJ fight, but he looks like he's half the size. I haven't seen him. He wasn't at Canelo's gym when I was there last week, but he looked great. I mean, I think this guy's going to beat pretty much every heavyweight out there, apart from AJ and Tyson Fury. Dillian White, I believe, can beat him. Usyk, no. Wilder, no. He's going to spank Arreola in a couple of rounds, and then I hope he fights Dillian, or I hope he fights Wilder. I mean, these are tremendous fights, but I can't wait to see Andy Ruiz back. He's a great addition to the division. Very exciting.
Dillian White put out something the other day saying fight news pending. You said you wanted...
Yeah, I had a meeting with his team on Monday or Tuesday, just talking about, I'd like to take him to America for his next fight. I'd like to push the profile over there, summer fight out there, and then a huge fight at the end of the year. So just discussing that now.
Opponent-wise for Dillian, he said he wanted to fight Trevor Bryant, but anything...
Yeah, I'd like him to fight an American if that's the case. It's not the deepest pool of fighters, heavyweights from America, but if he's going to fight at MSG or somewhere where we take him, I'd like him to fight an American. And obviously, we won the purse bid for Hrgovic against Hunter as well, which is a tremendous
well
fight.
done for that, by the way. It's a great...
Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. And that's going to be a big fight in America as well, or even maybe Croatia.
Really? Possibility for that? Okay. But that will headline a card somewhere, yes?
Or it might even go on Dillian White's card.
Interesting.
Great.
Any progression with Amir Khan and Conor Benn?
Not really, no. I spoke to them. I'm seeing Conor next week to go through his plans. I want to get him out in the summer. I think Amir will be looking to fight sort of September, October. spoke to his lawyer, said we'd go through the numbers, and I'll put the numbers to him. We like the fight. I was with Tony Sims on Tuesday, I think, and he likes the Amir Khan fight as well. So we still appreciate and understand Conor Benn could still do with some rounds, and he's going to get better and better. But I'll give him that summer fight, and then after that, I think he's good to go.
Are you still discussing Kell Brook with Amir Khan?
Not really. Not really.
Okay. I forgot to ask you about him when we were talking to Peter Fury, but Martin Bakole, any plans there with Martin Bakole?
No, I mean, he was. We were trying to get him to fight Hrgovic. We couldn't make that deal, but we've got some heavyweights to get out very soon. Hughie Fury, of course, is top of that list. David Price, maybe those two might even fight each other. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Dave Allen.
Dave Allen? No, yeah, I've not spoken to. I mean, I think it's difficult when a fighter tells you they just don't want to do it anymore, and he was quite graphic about some of the problems he'd had sort of medically, and I just feel that I love Dave to bits, and I just don't want to see him fight again, really. But I understand he's not even saying I want to fight all these big fights and make money. He's just saying I miss it. Can I do some 4 and 6 rounders? So I'm sure he'll get those quite easily. And if he ever needs any help, we're here for him.
But is there a possibility that you may see how he goes and work again with him?
Maybe. I just, again, I feel like towards the end of his first career, if you like, everything that he was saying really meant that he shouldn't be fighting. So, but things can change, life can change, your feelings can change, and if he's fit and he's well and he's ready to fight, he should be allowed to fight. But I like the idea of those 4 and 6. Those are just easy walkover fights, and just see how he feels. Like whatever makes Dave happy, as long as he's healthy and fit to fight.
Great fight Saturday night, BT Sport, between Felix Cash and Denzel Bentley.
Really good fight. I mean, there's history there. They actually had a little roll around in the gym in sparring not so long ago. Which I don't know if that's been documented or. Denzel Bentley, good fighter. Felix Cash, tremendous fighter. For me, this is going to be Felix's moment to shine. I'm really confident he stops Denzel Bentley and does it within probably 6 rounds. And if he does, it's going to be a major statement. And if he does, I think that he should go on and move to European and world level. But this is a really good fight for him. Obviously, British title as well. He's headlining. It was a good opportunity for him. And, he's seeing back-to-back Queensbury Matchroom fights getting made here. Demetrius Andrade against Liam Williams and now Cash against Bentley. So things are looking up.
Absolutely. Eddie, can you just address the situation regarding Robert McCracken and whether, the speculation that he wouldn't be available to be in the corner because of the Olympics, etc.?
No, I think, that obviously there's an issue where Rob's due to be at the Olympics. There's also an issue where whatever date we get given is kind of like the date. You can't really move it around a month or whatever. That's going to be the date. So there's conversations going on between the teams. I'm not been involved with those, but obviously Rob's a big part of the corner team, and I'm sure there'll be a resolution. Okay,
we're going to quickly wrap this up with the shows you've got coming up. We will talk more depth about, obviously, the huge weekend you've got next week, May the 1st, Zora Parker. But just to mention on that, James Tennyson added.
Yes,
that card.
Yes, fighting for the IBO world title. Always exciting. I mean, firstly, this Friday, you've got a huge show in Barcelona. There's 5 Brits on the card, but 3 championship fights there. That's on DAZN this Friday. Don't miss that one. It's going to be a great night of boxing. And then next week, as you said, huge show in Manchester. Zora Parker, cannot wait for that fight. Katie Taylor against Natasha Jonas, cannot wait for that fight. Dimitri Bivol against Craig Richards, can't wait for that fight. You know what? Craig is looking unbelievable. Fancy a cheeky little upset there. I know people, honestly. Marcus Morrison against Chris Eubank Jr. returns to the card. James Tennyson against Saffron. You've got Scott Fitzgerald returns on that card as well. You've got Campbell Hatton on that card as well. And then we actually got a week off. Outrageous.
Well, you haven't really.
No, hold on. That's the week. Hold on, I'm getting confused here. Now, let's start that again.
You've got a little.
Yeah. We definitely haven't got a week off on May the 8th because it's Canelo Alvarez against Billy Joe Saunders, Unified Super Middleweight Championship, WBC, WBA, WBO, Ring Magazine Championship. Oh, by the way, great card there. Our new flyweight world champion, Elvin Soto, defends his world title. Frank Sanchez, Mark Castro, Keyshawn Davis. Fight of the night, mate.
Kieran Conway and Sissoko.
Against Sully Sissoko. This is a great fight. And again, this is what, eventually when I talk about my new vision for whatever deal will be announced, these, let's get all our fighters from one division and just make a fucking huge round robin, right? So let's get Sissoko against Conway. Let's make Fowler against Cheeseman, right? Let's make Fitz against, I don't know, Matchroom, like whatever. Like, let's just make this world where we all live in, where we can make great fights internationally and push people on, pay them great money, etc., etc. Suleiman Sissoko against Kieran Conway, brilliant for the AT&T Stadium on May the 8th. Then we go to May 15th.
Just announced, yeah.
Yeah, just announced. Terry Harper will unify the division against Hearn Choi, the WBA world champion. Joshua Buatsi will return under Virgil Hunter. Will announce his opponent hopefully today. Then you've got Gamal Yafai defends his European title against Jason Cunningham. You've got Tommy McCarthy defend his European title against Alexander Djur. Hopefully after that we make McCarthy against Dylan Smith for the British Commonwealth and European, which would be fantastic. You've got Lerone Richards going for the European Super Middleweight Championship against Carolis. You've also got brilliant fight between Dalton Smith and Lee Appleyard for the English light welterweight title. Then you've probably got Solomon Dakers on that card as well, making his pro debut. And then May the 22nd, was the week off. Sorry, May the 22nd. Oh, I let myself down there. May the 29th, cannot wait. Haney against Linares, Mandalay Bay. Absolute cracker. Really good undercard on that as well, actually, which we'll announce. There's 2 Brits on that card as well, on big fights. And then we go into June, where we'll be doing Lewis Ritson against Ponce, final eliminator for the IBF title. That'll be in Newcastle in June.
Fans?
Hopefully, yeah. Fans up there in Newcastle. I mean, we do expect it to be slow to start with in terms of numbers, but let's just get them back. I mean, we were... The casino had invited guests last week. I think 1,000 in Miami. It makes such a big difference. Even 1,000. So yeah, and then we go into the summer.
Fight camp. Can you reveal anything?
Fight camp will be in operation with fans this year. Like, imagine fight camp last time and then just turn it up by 10. The fights, the crowd, the atmosphere.
At Matchroom HQ.
Yes.
Can't use the Holiday Inn anymore though.
Going to be unbelievable.
Are you building a hotel on site?
Might do.
Yeah?
No.
Okay. So that's the schedule. I have got one more question to ask you that I didn't ask you before. Can I just quickly throw it in?
Starving.
Oh, sorry. Do you know what, when we're talking about Sky and DAZN, does the Premier League rights have any impact on your decision? No.
I saw some tweets about that.
I had to ask. I forgot to.
Don't worry. Look, one day soon we'll have a good sit down, eh?
And we can run through the whole thing. Okay, finally, you are the new chairman of Matchroom Sport. Shout out to Bazza. We saw the picture of Bazza and Anthony Joshua. Does that mean Joshua was there recently today?
Not today or anything, but it wasn't so long ago, yeah.
Okay, so now you are basically king of Matchroom.
Yeah, I mean...
how do you feel?
I feel good. I've been busy the last few days, but I'm excited. A great team of people here. I mean, when we say step aside, yes, he has, and he will slow down. But as you know, with him, he loves it, and I would never allow him to retire in full because I think it would limit his life. Like, honestly, I think that when you've been so involved with something and you love something so much and you have such a passion for what you do, when that leaves your life, it deflates you. And you see that with a lot of old people. So he's going to be doing a bit more from home, playing a bit more golf, doing a bit more fishing. But he relies on the younger generation of the company now and the business to move it forward. And we've built an unbelievable team of young people who have, aged over the years, who have built themselves into very, very powerful positions within sport and the business. And that's what we do. We've never recruited at a senior level here. As we expand globally and start going to new frontiers, that's inevitable. But if you look at people that are running the divisions, Frank Smith joined at 15, right? It was me and him doing the boxing and John was, that was it. All right, look at him now. He's probably the best operator in the sport, CEO of Matchroom. He's going to be a superstar. Emily Fraser runs the Matchroom Multisport. I think she joined at 17 or 18. Matt Porter runs the PDC. Just where he's taken that business, unbelievable. He joined the business, I think, work experience from the local paper at 16. This is what we do at Matchroom. We provide people with...
Look where Darren Fleurs is now, mate.
Darren Fleurs, same thing,
Shout out Fleurs.
But really, you're only limited by your own imagination, but you're only limited by the amount of work you're prepared to put in. And if you work hard here and you do a great job and you have vision, the opportunities are endless. And he now is in a position where he has the people running the departments. That was me running Matchroom Boxing, Matt Porter running the darts, Emily Fraser, that report to him anyway. But now he'll give up more of that control. He will say, okay, but he'll still want me to report to him all the time. What's happening with this? And now my job is a little bit wider across the business, and I'm still going to be focusing the same amount of time and effort into boxing, because that's still the biggest division for me and my biggest passion. But also I have a role to play now in the darts, in the golf, in multi-sport, in Matchroom Media, which is very important to me as well. And it's just a remarkable story. We're a small family business that has grown into a global powerhouse, and our growth, looking at the next few years and the numbers and the development, it's off the charts. We are growing at such a huge rate. We will double in every side over the next 2 or 3 years. And we have dreams, we have hopes, but most of all, we have passion. We love what we do. And when you're good at something, but you have a passion for it, you're unstoppable. And that's where I feel we're at right now. And the future is bright, and he will always be there. But I think at 73 this year, he sort of said, my time to go and enjoy myself a little bit more. I want to go on holiday a little bit more and go fishing. I mean, don't ask, he loves fishing, loves it. He also loves golf. He ain't the best, nor am I, but he likes that. But he loves a day out. Man, really. But that's, he's worked his nuts off for years and years and years. Now it's time just to enjoy the sunshine just a little bit.
Well, good luck to Barry anyway. Whatever Barry does, whether it's golf or fishing or still in the ear roll, which I'm sure he will be. Eddie, I do want to quickly just mention that...
it's about 8 times.
Sorry.
Go on.
I will not be in Dallas for Billy Joe and Canelo. So I just wanted to kind of address the reason for this, because to my understanding, a lot of the media were rejected for... All media from the UK were rejected for visa waivers. Yes. Nothing to do with Esther's. This is a visa waiver that's required to go into America because they're not issuing new ones. They don't see it as a legitimate...
Not that. They are issuing new ones. There's many reasons for not issuing a visa waiver. Okay? There's many reasons for denying a visa as well, actually. But in terms of the waivers, it's essential. People that are essential to the event taking part, basically. I think that's the assessment from the US government. Fighters, no problem. You can get away, there's no, waivers that are being denied in that respect. Media, I just feel like I think they've made a decision, the Americans, to say, we don't feel that it's necessary for media to attend this fight for it to go ahead.
Why I said they're not issuing new ones is because guys like my Andy McCart, who was at the Smith and the Ildrum,
he has a he's in a position. I believe, where he applied previously when they were doing multi-entry.
November last year.
Yeah. So he's just lucky boy.
He's a lucky boy. So we will have someone there. Right, yeah. I just wanted to point that out in case.
Oh yeah, because when you're not there, like everyone's going to wonder why.
No, it's Billy Joe, and I'm close with Billy Joe, so I just didn't want people to think I just didn't rock up to Billy Joe's fight, but I physically can't go. But if anything changes, Edward, in that time, just let me know and I'll jump straight on a plane.
Okay, mate.
Eddie, thank you very much for an hour.
Oh, was it really? Jeez.
Yes. It was.
Well, at least you weren't here anyway, so it's the main thing.
Lovely. I will see you in Manchester.
Will do, mate. See you all. Take care.
Thank you very much.